Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's great to have you all tuning us in and turning us on. You are listening. Yes, this is the Dr. Pat Show on Transformation Talk Radio. And we've got a great lineup for all of you today. But first, I want to shout out to Mr. Benny. Hi, Mr. B.
What up, Pat?
Very exciting times we're living in, dude.
Oh, you know
Very
it.
exciting.
Yes, yes, yes.
Very exciting.
In
I love
particular,
it.
do you have something in your mind that you are involved with that's so
I'm going to
exciting?
date myself. I'm going to date myself. Are
Nah.
you ready for it?
Then bring it.
I remember doing a sit-in.
Oh.
Yeah, but I remember doing it on the outside of that building
With some
in Washington,
right,
D.C.
with the fire extinguisher
on
next to
the
you, too, right?
outside. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
so-
mean, do you remember?
I don't know.
Picture of you doing that?
I don't remember.
Do you remember when they hosed us down and stuff like that? Did you see my picture of that?
No, I never have.
Oh, boy.
Wait,
Yeah.
there's a picture of you?
I'm hiding it. I'm not putting it up.
It's one
Don't
of
even ask me.
those.
Don't even ask me for any pictures like that at all. Well, it's interesting. The whole civil rights movement, right?
Mhm,
And that's what we called it, was all about that energy. It was all about, doing something about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it came in many forms. And so I was really quite absorbed with the fact that our technology now allows us to watch pirate streaming from the floor of the house. And I got to tell you, it was the best reality show I've seen in a long time.
Okay.
The best reality show I've seen in a long time. Whether you're on one side or the other, unless you don't watch the news or television, which I don't actually even know how it came on my TV. It's fascinating. And I remember myself, there was one picture there of one of the congressmen with a striped pillow. And I got to tell you, Benny, I used to take my pillow too.
Okay.
I used to bring my
Oh, because you knew ahead of time you were going to be staying.
Well, I knew
That
I
was pretty
gonna
smart.
stay,
That's
and
smart of you.
Who likes to sit on concrete?
That's smart
come
of you,
on.
though.
But I got to tell you, we were way organized. So I just thought in my life, I just thought about the energy of that because we're doing 2 shows on energy today, back to back. We're talking with Dr. Joseph Cardillo about a revolutionary approach to body energy. So we're going to be talking with him about that. Then we're going to be getting with the Lynn to talk about full spectrum healing. And I'm just thinking to myself, who knew? Who knew energy lineup today? Because you know what? Energy is what this is about. Whether you're looking at the earth, whether you're looking at your body intelligence, like Dr. Joe talks about, Dr. Joseph talks about, whether you're thinking about the many, many things he's done. Here's what I want to tell you about Dr. Joseph Cardillo for those of you out there. Besides being an inspirational speaker, energy expert, energy teacher, he is out there doing it. But he's also the author of the best-selling book. You ready, everybody? This is what I love, Body Intelligence. Yes, harness your body's energies for your best life. Why? Because we can. Now, how did we not know we could? Well, I want to talk with Dr. Joe today about this because if you go back like thousands of years, people knew this. People knew this. But I think we got amnesia in the middle of that and this. Today, he is an amazing expert. Been on the show before, love having him on. Read some of his articles, whether you've seen him in the Smithsonian Magazine, the New York Post, the Los Angeles Times, Seattle Post, Men's Health. I could go on and on and on, but I don't want to take up any more time talking about him. I want him to be talking. Dr. Joe, great to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Listen, You knew at an early time in your life about this thing we're calling energy right now, but the rest of the world did not. And now Dr. Oz, and I've said this a million times before, all of a sudden we got Dr. Oz doing his TV show, and he says this. You had to be in shock about this. This had to be an eye opener for you, Dr. Cardillo. He says, energy medicine is the next frontier.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I'm glad he said it. You know, we're making we're getting the word out there in a really big way. You know, I worked as Michael Strahan from the Kelly and Michael show and football icon. Michael Strahan. I was his energy management expert in his new book Wake Up Happy. And you know, I'm so happy that, you know, that some major large commercial players, you know, like Michael, you know, like Dr. Oz and other people are getting that word out there, you know, and helping all the rest of us, you know, throw that into an arena where, you know, more people can hear about you know, ways to take care of their health and to improve their lives that are just so simple and so much more, let's just put it this way, so much more pleasant than other invasive possibilities.
Well, I love this for a number of reasons, and you know, it's fascinating what happens. We're getting ready to, you know, do some really cool things with technology, and of course, in the media right now, technology has come to the forefront. You know, we're looking at many things, but part of our new infrastructure literally incorporates, you know, what we're seeing in the media. But here's the thing I love about this, and what you're talking about is, I wake up happy too. And I got an email from somebody that said, I don't actually know what, I mean, half of it was in English and then half of it was in another language, Dr. Joe, because guess what? That's the way we are now. We're communicating people all the world. And basically they said, you know, we love your network because we're launching transmission. They said, it's a happy network. And I thought, I never thought of it as a happy network. But here's my question for you. Some people believe that having the ability to harness this energy, right, is not for everybody. Some people think that if you're born in a certain way, that's it. You're stuck. What do you think?
Oh, no. You know, your body is harnessing this energy, whether you're, you know, you're aware of it, you like it or not. I mean, because the bottom line is that, you know, we have a physical body. We live in a physical world for a reason, and everything around us is energy. We're energy. Everything around us is energy. Our whole world is made up of energy, and our bodies function with energy. And our bodies are incredible smart machines. They work like an antenna, and they're downloading energy from everything in their environment, everything around them, whether we like it or not. This is happening, and like an antenna, it's going to draw energy from everything around it, but also including within itself. It can draw energy from within itself. So, you know, as long as things are turning out great for us, you know, most of the time people don't pay any attention to how that's working out for them. But, you know, as soon as things aren't turning out so well, you know, we get sick or we have a sort of a blasé day, or a performance that we're trying to engage in doesn't work out so well, then we start wondering why things like that happen. And many times, you know, the bottom line to all this is that, you know, we've used or we've accessed the wrong energy for the task that we're trying to involve ourselves with.
You know, there are people that talk about, and you actually reference this in the book. And I want to talk about this when we come back from break. You talk about making an energy chart, and I found that fascinating in your book. And you say make up an energy chart, and I thought to myself, I had never thought about that before. An energy chart. Why would we do that? Let's take a short break. When we come back, hey, do you guys know how to make an energy chart? And why is that so important given the world we live in today, the pace by which we're operating at? And what is it about this chart that's going to help us understand and tap into, as Dr. Joseph Cardillo talks about, body intelligence? All right, we're going to take a shorty. When we come back, we got lots to talk about, not to mention that if you want to get some help from the best of the best here today, 1-800-930-2819. Boom. We'll be right back.
Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Steffen each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This hit show will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. Visit thetruthisfunny.com.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days, because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
My play, The United States of China, is about the trial of Miriam Hopkins, who is a metaphor for all that America stands for. It's the year 2018. America has become the United States of China. We've owed China trillions of dollars we cannot pay. Consequently, we default.
How long do you think it will take this financial empire to crash and crumble? Just like that.
This is more than a play experience. It's a movement to create awareness and empower people to be in action. We are strong together. We will always prevail. Get your tickets today at americathestrong.com.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet. Welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information.
Are you ready for a game changer? Sarah Westall is bringing you Business Game Changers Radio. Sarah brings you leading experts, visionaries, and newsmakers who provide the best commentary on big issues and cutting-edge innovations. Sarah's 20 years as a business executive will help you think like an entrepreneur with expertise, energy, and attitude. Tune in to Business Game Changers Mondays at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Boom. I love this. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Welcome back. Welcome. I'm welcoming me back. Dr. Joseph Cardillo joining me here today. I want to tell everybody, listen, this is a fabulous, fabulous book. And we're actually going to give a copy of it today. But I want to open up the phone lines because here's what I love to do, Benny. You know, when you have somebody like Dr. Joseph Cardillo on the show, And what you know about him is, I mean, he is the expert that people in the field, especially media, they're like, wait a minute. Michael Strahan is like, okay, Dr. Joe, you got to help me. Now, I want to make sure all of you have the same opportunity. How can each of us get some tips today? I'm going to get a tip from him too. How can we get some tips today to help us get into this groove? To get into the groove. Because here's the title of his book, Body Intelligence. Harness your body's energy for, you ready? Your best life. Not your mediocre life, your best life. So 1-800-930-2819. Come on and give us a question. Call in. Or go to transformationtalkradio.com. Oh, do you like the new website, by the way? And when you get there, on the right-hand side, go ahead and type in your question. We're going to get it on air. Dr. Joe, I'm sorry. I'm so excited to have you on the show today. I'm just like a little kid. Body intelligence. Let me back up a little bit. Body intelligence. What is it, and what has it got to do with energy?
Okay, so it's got everything to do with energy. Body intelligence, I break that up into two parts. The first part deals specifically with the body, and that is the body's ability to work like a smart antenna to literally draw energy from everything around it, including from within itself. And it's doing this 24/7, whether we like it or not. And so the idea is then to try to regulate that. How can I access that and get it to draw the right energy for the right task? The second part of body intelligence is kind of like BQ, and that has to do with us, and it has to do with our awareness of the full spectrum of energy that's available to us through our body. And once we're able to access those energies, the hallmark of body intelligence is to match the right energy with the right task that we're trying to perform. So let's say that you're just trying to ski down a mountain slope. That's going to require a certain type of energy. If you're trying to play the violin, that's going to require another kind of energy. And if you're trying to, say, bench press 350 pounds, that's another energy entirely.
That's Benny.
If you were trying,
that's Benny
sure.
Does that, 350 pounds.
Right, as would be if you were trying to heal from a surgery, or what about if you were trying to heal from a broken heart? It's a whole different kind of energy. So for everything that we do, there's an energy that will match it. And when we make ourselves sensitive to the energies that are affecting our bodies, then we can use that to match the right energy with the right task. And it's really kind of simple. I mean, who hasn't? We already kind of do some of this stuff very naturally. I want to emphasize this is absolutely simple, fun, and accessible. For example, who hasn't had a kind of a blasé day and then just gone outside and taken a walk and they feel better? We've all done that. And the reason that we feel better, I mean, if you look at a little bit of the science behind it, the reason that we feel better is because of the additional sunlight that we're exposing ourselves to, and the sunlight will melt away the melatonin that's in our bloodstream, which is the hormone that's making us groggy and anxious and down in the first place. So it kind of decreases the melatonin. The exercise increases our overall energy, and it's a win-win situation with no bad side effects. So just a simple thing like that. And what body intelligence tries to do, what we try to do, and it's so simple, what we try to do is we try to take normal, simple, natural things like that and find a way to amplify or ramp up the feel-good effect. So how can I increase the dosage, per se, and then how can I make it last longer, and ultimately how can I get my body to do these things on its own? Yeah. So, for example, if I'm doing something to calm myself down before I go into an office meeting, how can I get that to last longer? How can I ramp up the effect, and how can I get my body to eventually just do that on its own? And that's what we want, ultimately, our body in a cycle, just like our sleep cycles, our body accessing the energy that we need for the things that have to be done. And then we find ourselves in what's been, it's made a lot of attention, in psychology news and and even physiological news, this idea of living in a flow mindset. And that really is what flow mindset is, because when you match the right energy with the right task, you never feel tired. You feel energized by what you did, and you feel happy, and you feel satisfied, and you perform at your best. So that's what we're going for.
Well, I love it. And for those of you out there, you want to go for it now, you want to get some tips. This book is loaded, by the way. I want to talk about this thing that you have in the book. I mean, there's so many things I want to talk about, but this idea of an energy chart. Now, I know Linda is listening to the show, and she's like a triple Virgo, so this is right up her alley. But for me, I was fascinated by this. Can you talk about the energy chart and why this is important to understand it, and perhaps even do one of these?
Yeah, I created the energy chart for people that I work with and organizations, companies, and so on. And the reason I created that energy chart is to try to bring people up to speed really quick, so that there are people like myself who have studied how energy affects the human body for decades, but most of us don't have decades to understand this stuff. So what I tried to do is to, create ways in the book that people can get there tonight, so they don't need decades to understand it. They can understand it tonight. And the energy chart, I created that. There are a couple of energy charts, I think 3. That are in the book, and there are 3 basic charts. The first one lets people know, very, very simple chart. It takes a look at your day, a 24-hour day, and just identify at various important parts of your day. Like for most people, maybe waking up is important. How they arrive at work is important, and how they come home might be important, and how they sleep at night. Things like that. So it identifies the important parts of the day, and I just ask people to take a look at the energy that they're feeling at that important time and see if they have the right energy for what they're attempting to do at that moment. So, for example, if I'm trying to go to sleep but I'm jumpy, that would be the wrong energy. I'd want a different kind of energy. If I wake up in the morning and I wish I could sleep for another 2 hours, that would be a totally other kind of energy. So, and everybody's is a little different. And so I just start people out by looking at their day and trying to figure out when throughout the day and the important parts of the day do they have the energy that they need for what they're trying to do. And in many cases, we find out, wow, I'm at least a little off, if not totally off. And so that's a good place to start when you're looking at how to improve your body energy. Just look to see if you've got the right kind of energy for what you're trying to do. Then I've got another chart that gets a little more specific about different things that you actually do at the important parts of the day. And then you can see the effect that those particular things have. Like, for example, I was working with one mom who wakes up in the morning and, has a single parent, has 3 kids, and has several cups of coffee while she's preparing lunch for the kids, just trying to get them out of the door on the school bus. And she, and before she even leaves the house herself, she's burnt out. Which is easy to do. And so she's looking for, how can I improve my energy? How can I improve this? And so she sees that she's really trapped by that caffeine, because that caffeine that's giving her the uplift and getting her the energy that she thinks she needs in the morning also has a terrible side effect and crashes her later on when she really needs to be focused at work. So, you find out little things like that. And one thing that I really liked about her chart, and I believe I mentioned this in the book, I really, really enjoy this about her chart. What she had a habit of doing, this one particular individual, was on her way to work, she would stop at a coffee shop. Oh. And I love this. She would stop at a coffee shop because she still didn't have enough coffee after several cups of coffee just to get the kids out. She'd stop at the coffee shop and get another cup of coffee and drink it on the way to work. And that would crash her even worse. But when she was examining her own energy day on the chart, she realized that when she walked in the coffee house, before she had any coffee at all, her spirit started to uplift, and she felt good, and she felt happy. And then she drank the coffee and realized she felt worse, which was interesting to me, very interesting, because it was telling me that it was something else that was uplifting her, not the caffeine.
Wow.
And so she found out little things like that about her day, like, what is it that's really giving me the lift? And when she realized, it was the pause that was giving her the lift. The pause, just stopping in the coffee shop, the pause, and the little bit of socializing that gave her the lift. And then that had no side effects, and it had lasting power. So what body intelligence is about is finding out those little things like that are giving you a lift without the drain, and finding ways to amplify that. Like, what if we could take that pause and amplify it so that it's now stronger than the caffeine itself?
Oh, so you're going to show us how to do this, right? When we come back from break, I'm ready for this.
Absolutely.
I'm totally ready for this, because, in the scheme of things, right? Someone said to me something really interesting. I'd like you to think about it and us to talk about it when we come back. Somebody asked me the question the other day. They said, "Man, how are you doing everything, man?" You know what? Here was the comment, by the way. You ready for this one? You're not getting any younger. Shouldn't you be taking stuff off your plate? I've got to talk to Dr. Joe about that one. What happened to that when it went into my consciousness right there? We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to tell you how to find out more about Dr. Joe, give away a copy of the book, Body Intelligence. Harness your body's energy for your best life. I've got the expert here. Do you want some tips? 1-800-930-2819. We're going to be right back. He's going to be with us for the hour. We're just warming up here. We'll be right back.
Are you searching? Looking for a sign? A message you need to hear? From the great unknown, from the most mysterious place that is the most familiar to your soul, in the depths of who you are. The universe put someone here to talk to, someone God gave a blessing to, that you may find insight with. TheAngelLady.net. 1-800-323-1790.
Chris Stanis is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
Shine On Radio. Find Your Shine with Kelly is the show that celebrates what makes you, you. Join co-hosts Kelly Wadler and Dr. Pat Basili as they break down how to brilliantly fuel and move your body and love what makes you shine. Kelly is a professional arts and wellness coach dedicated to helping brilliant women find their confidence, energy, self-love, and shine. Tune in to Shine On Radio with Kelly and find your shine on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Hi, this is Leslie Fontaine. What in this very moment are you creating or drawing to yourself? Notice your field when you desire something. Are you in agreement from your emotions to your power center to your sense and desire of security? Do you second guess your intuition or even shut it down? These are clues to what you are about to create. What you have done so far is already here. Every block is a clue, and your heart's desire is there to transform it. Are you ready to shift? If you are, visit lesliefontaine.com and let's talk about unfolding all that you want to be, do, and have. You'll find sessions, classes, audio products to help remove the blocks and move you into your potential. And listen to my show, Sheer Alchemy, on Transformation Talk Radio, Wednesdays at 10 Pacific, 1 Eastern.
Holistic Medical Center is where you find it all. A healthy space with doctors who care, see, and listen to the whole you. Hi, this is Dr. Darvish. If you have not found an answer to your chronic symptoms, you will find answers here at Holistic Medical Center. Our doctors find the root cause of your symptoms and guide your body towards healing naturally. We transform lives from within. Visit drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
Everybody, welcome back. And I am so glad to be connecting with all of you out there. Thank you so much for tuning us in and turning us on. If you want to find out more about us, please go ahead and go to just go to the drpatshow.com or go to transformationtalkradio.com. And the reason that I would love for you to go to transformationtalkradio.com is because, you know, we are making the changes that you guys have requested. And so if you see something you like or if you see something you don't like, let us know. But we are in the process of making changes. And as we're in the process of making those changes, we will incorporate, you know, what you want more of, what you want less of. All of the above. I also ask, please be a little patient with us because, yeah, it's technology. Dr. Joe, how can people get a copy of your book? And how can they find out more about you?
People can pick up a copy of Body Intelligence in any bookstore, anywhere, or on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com or any of the independent stores. And they can find out more about me and communicate back by going to www.josephcardillo.com, Cardillo. And they can also find me on Facebook under Joseph Cardillo, PhD.
I love it. I wanted to get to something you were talking about during the break because I think what you were sharing is super important. You know, some people wake up happy. Some people don't. We have heard now more about the effects of depression right out in the world today. We have heard more about the abuse of opiates or whatever you'd like to call them, the feel-good notion out there today. I don't think that people like to sit in pain, emotional or otherwise. And you shared something interesting with me during the break, and I would love for you to share it with our audience, please.
Yeah, what we're doing with Body Intelligence is we're actually changing the electrochemical activity within the body. The body uses various different kinds of energy, but one of our primary targets is the electrical and chemical activity within the body. And so if we can change that, we can change the way you feel. And by changing that, we can get the body to produce its own feel-good hormones, let's say, and chemistry, and also electrical activity that influences the way we feel. And by doing that, we can come up with alternatives to painkillers, alternatives to antidepressants. We can come up with alternatives to a lot of things, to stimulants, coffee and other substances and pharmaceuticals. And so a lot of this kind of work that we're doing can be used as an alternative to those things, with a physician in mind, with your physician in mind, but they can also be used to reduce the amount of pharmaceuticals or invasive treatments that a person is getting. And, to add to that, they even if you're taking some kind of a pharmaceutical, it'll make it work better.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to, what we're doing is we're getting the body to produce its own chemistry and to change it so that it gives you the chemistry that you need for what you're attempting to do.
Yeah, you cover so much in the book that talks to how we can become empowered. And this is really a little different model than we're used to. If things are not working for us, we go to a doctor, and sometimes we'll do what the doctor says, sometimes we won't. But this is really a model that says, wait a minute, there are things we can do. We can detect negative moods, negative emotions, and we can reverse them. Can you talk about that a little bit? And what is the effect of harmful moods?
Well, the effect of harmful moods is harmful electrical and chemical activity in the body. And if it lasts long enough, it'll do damage. See, the thing is that if you start if you start to engage in an activity, whether it's an emotional activity or a physical activity, and it starts to become a pattern. So like I engage in this activity every time thus and thus happens, or I engage in this activity between 9 and 10 o'clock every morning. If you do that, the body is a smart machine. The body will start to prepare you for that before you even involve in that activity. And so your body will start to go there all on its own. And at some point, it's going to go there unconsciously to you. So the problem with negative moods and negative behaviors and dysfunctional activity in general is that your body gets the message that that's the way you want to be. And so it creates an entire electrical and chemical system around that. And that electrical system and chemical system affects the way you think and the way you continue to feel. And it becomes a sort of a spiral. It affects the way you think and the way you feel, and it affects you physically as well. So all that's happening. So when you regulate it and you learn how to use the various energies that, for all the negative energies there are positive energies. Mm-hmm. And so if you find out what those positive energies are, real simple things, and then find out how to amplify their effect and how to train your body to download that energy at 9 o'clock every morning, then it'll start doing it on its own. You won't even have to think about it. You'll just feel good. Just like some people just feel bad.
Yeah.
Just like they just feel bad. They can stop feeling bad very simply.
Yeah. I was really fascinated in the book when you talk about how to use energy to improve memory. And I mean, I've read a lot of books in 14 years at doing this, but I got to tell you, this is a first for me. Using energy to improve memory. Is that like the best kept secret on the planet right here?
Yeah, I think so. So, because all the stuff that we do to try to build up memory. And it's funny that you say that, because I was just looking at a piece of research that came across my desk. I think it was last night. On the effects of we were just talking about negative feelings, the effect of serum cortisol, on memory and so on. What we can do about that. And I've been on top of that one for years, for years. And see, we can alter the blood chemistry by altering the electrical activity in the brain. So I can get to both. I can find very simple things like taking a walk that'll change your blood chemistry. So you're in a blasé mood, I can get you in a better mood just by taking a walk, and then I can find ways to amplify that. And if we were talking about a pill, what we'd be talking about is I can find a very simple way for you to increase the milligrams of the dose. And then I can find a way to make that dose last longer. And then what you can't do with a pill, you can't do. I can find a way to get your body to do it on its own without you doing anything. Because once you train your body, I want you to do this. When I'm involved in this activity, it'll do it naturally for you. Just like those of us who jog in the morning. You're used to going out and jogging at a certain time. Your body's already pumped up most days.
Yeah.
Before you even get out the door, your body has increased its temperature to kill any toxins that are in it. It's increased your heart rate. It's increased your respiratory rate. It's doing all kinds of things. It's increasing its temperature to give your muscles more flexibility. It's doing everything to prepare you for what you're trying to do because it's so smart.
Wow.
So that's what we want. We ideally want to get the body to, it's so easy. It's so, I give
that's
an
what I was just
example
going
in
to
the
say
book.
to you. I was just going to say that to you. This sounds so easy. But
It is.
where's the resistance, Dr. Joe? I mean, given that we know this now, and you talk about so beautifully and really break it down so simply, I guess I got to ask, why aren't more of us doing it?
Well,
there we go. That's a deep one, isn't it?
It takes practice, in the business.
The
business, we call it the practice. The practice. This is your practice. You have to do it. You can't see if I take a pill.
Yeah.
It's gonna affect me pretty quickly, and it's going to affect me maybe not at maximum impact, but pretty close. And so it's going to affect me pretty quickly. I'm going to get what I want by taking that pill. Now, on the other hand, if you're using a natural practice, for example, some of the things that I talk about in the book might take you 2 weeks to train your brain to go there on its own. But once it's doing that, after 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to start to get the full impact. And when you get the full impact, after 2 or 3 weeks, it's going to last as long as you want it to last. And it's going to be full strength, and it's going to be natural. You can't possibly overdose. You can't possibly have nasty side effects like people who take pharmaceuticals to go to sleep at night. I was just working with somebody who was taking pharmaceuticals for a couple of years. I showed him a really simple way. So I'd get my daughter to sleep in and usually less than 3 minutes. Usually less than that, and I think even far less than that. But, I trained her to do that from when she was a young girl so that she'd have some natural way to calm herself down and relax for the rest of her life and never have to rely on, on toxins.
Well, isn't this is really kind of the cool thing about this, and it has to do with how each of us can become super empowered and do some things. I was really fascinated in reading the book. I was really fascinated with two things, and I think they're related. One is when you talk about color, and then the next was the body, mind, spirit, energy spectrum. Right?
Yes.
So color spectrum, my brain went off. And then I thought, okay, let's talk about what you call the body, mind, spirit system. Some people think you can have 2 of the 3 and it still works. Other people say other things. But I would love to hear from you about this energy spectrum and how color has a role in this.
I'm going to talk about it very, very simply, and then if you want me to elaborate more, please go ahead. Very, very simply, color, let's put it this way. One of the things that we're trying to do with body intelligence is take a very simple thing like taking a walk and being out in the sun. All right, we know that decreases your melatonin, it changes your blood chemistry. It's going to add a certain rhythm to the activity of your brain waves. It's going to change your electrical activity. It's going to do some things. It's going to give you some heat energy and detox you, which will give you a little more energy. It's going to do a couple of things that are really great for you. But now, what can we do? What if you need more than that? What if you need a stronger dose? What can you do for the same feel-good feeling? One thing you can do is to use color. So, like, let's say that I want to, I'm just taking that walk in mid-afternoon to try to pep myself up, to try to give myself more focus and better concentration rather than take that, 5th cup of coffee or something. If at the end of my walk, or even a couple of times throughout the walk, I close my eyes just for a second and take a nice deep breath and imagine the whole scenery around me as bright red, as though I'm looking through a bright red lens. and then take a breath and just breathe that in. So you're literally breathing in the image of the environment that you're in, but it's all bright red. That frequency, that color frequency, will change the activity of your brain waves, which will change the activity of the chemical activity in your bloodstream. And when you do that, you're going to amplify, again, that arousing feeling that you have of having greater energy. So it's the color and the ability to breathe it into your body that'll do that. And then there's other things that we can do. So, for example, let's say that as you're walking, you imagine a time you start to create your own little mind movie. And so what you're doing now is you're putting characters into a scenario, and of course you're going to create a positive scene, a positive encounter.
Uh-huh.
When you're creating that mental movie, you're using a different part of your brain. And so the more different parts of the brain that you use, let's say you have an iPod and you put music to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so now you're using music, you're using sound, you're using visual energy, auditory energy, you're using mechanical energy, you're using light energy. Do you see what I'm doing? So the more different parts of your brain that you activate while you're doing something, the more you'll ramp up the feel-good effect no matter what it is. No matter what it is. And not only that, but you'll remember it, you'll be able to recall that energy better the next time around, quicker. And it'll come back quicker, and it'll come back stronger, and that's what you want.
Yeah. And, what we're talking about here is, and I think you said this before, we're talking about training/retraining, something
right.
like that, something where, we're getting into the habit of something, and we're looking at how after a while it becomes second nature for us.
Right. Your body would not do what I just said on its own.
Right.
It wouldn't do it on its own without you programming it to do that. And you have to do it a couple times. It only takes a couple times, and then it gets the message. You have to do it more than once, and then it gets the message that this is what you want, this is what you want to retain, and this is what you want to recall. And after a while, it'll do it on its own, and it'll identify it. Like if you need that energy midday, you might not even be taking a walk, and you'll feel your body revving up for you because you sent it the message at this time during the day, this is the electrical chemical activity that I want inside me. And that's what it's going to do because it's a smart machine. So it's just learning how to use the machine, that's all. It's kind of like having, I've got young kids, so my kids are like, they know so much more about the cell phones and the iPods and so on than I do. And they're constantly telling me, there's a new app for what you're trying to do. And they'll see me struggling. They'll say, you're struggling trying to do that, but there's an app that'll do it in just a few seconds. Well, that's what I'm trying to tell people. I'm trying to say, I see you struggling with pharmaceuticals. I see you struggling with caffeine. I see you struggling even with exercise. I see you struggling trying to gain more strength, whether you're 20 years old or whether you're 92 years old, and you want a different kind of strength. But you're struggling, and it could be so easy. Don't you know that there's some natural things that you can do that'll give it to you?
Yeah, I want to talk about this in the. We got about 5 minutes or so left. One of the things that I saw in the book, you talk about one of the chapters or sections of the book is you say use visualization to condense energy into strength. I want to talk about this because this is, okay. Is there or are there any boundaries around this? Because we clearly know that if you ever watch a mom that sees a child in jeopardy, all of a sudden she has superpowers. Can you talk about this and what kind of strength are you talking about?
Yeah, and that's been documented too. That's just been documented over and over again. People come up with this super energy, upon need, but they can have that all the time, that kind of energy. My example of that was, a young martial artist, who, she's sitting down looking at, looking at a piece of wood that that is impossible for her to anatomically break, and yet she'll split it. She'll go right through it. And although it's impossible for her to anatomically have the kind of energy to do that, she just did it. What gave her that incredible, powerful, condensed energy when she needed it, and it was her body that had been trained to be able to do that. And we can train our own bodies to do that. And something else, I actually get letters from all over the world, and just did an interview with a magazine on this, on how we're able to create that same condensed energy while we're on the move. So the idea in body intelligence is to plug our energy drains, find out what's draining our energy throughout the day. Stop doing that. So if that's all you ever did, if that's the only thing anybody ever did, you'd have more energy because you just plug the energy that you're draining. But body intelligence is plugging your energy drains and increasing your energy gains by using your body's full spectrum of energies. And so when you increase the gains and you plug the drains, you feel great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it's all about. And then matching the energies with what you're trying to do. So when you need that extra, real condensed energy, you know how to do it. And, and it takes martial artists sometimes years to learn how to do that. And I wrote the book so that I can teach somebody how to do that, for daily use, almost overnight.
Well, I mean, we're talking about strength in a lot of different ways. And, one of the things I wanted to ask you, it's not about strength, but it's about creativity. Einstein says, you cannot solve the problem at the level it's created. Well, what did he mean by that? Well, maybe what he meant by that is we need to have a new level of possibility or a new level of awareness. How can this help us harness that, a new level of awareness?
Well, I found out somebody quoted me the other day, and it was really it was something we were talking about similar to this, and it's kind of floating around the internet right now. But it was, I had mentioned that the mindset, the gap, the zone that we go into when we're in that creative mind is very similar to the mindset of meditation.
Yes.
And when you're in that mindset, you're in that flowing mindset. Everything's just working. You're seeing. It's almost like something else is moving the keys on the keyboard if you're typing, or something else is moving your muscles and body if you're performing. When we're in that zone, when we're in that zone of creativity, or that zone of mindfulness, or that zone of meditation, in that zone we've unified the body, mind, and spirit. And at that point, you've got your full energy spectrum, and you've got your best energy to do whatever you're trying to do. At that point, if you stay in the physical mindset, which is fine, it's like consuming food or drinking coffee. If you stay in that physical mindset and that physical space that's made up of chemicals, if you stay in that mindset and in that place, all you'll do is consume energy. And so you have to keep feeding yourself more. But if you open up the energies of the mind and the energies of the spirit, and I mean that non-denominationally, although there's nothing wrong with people who want to see it denominationally either. But I mean it not. If you open up the body energies, the mind energies, and the energies of the human spirit, when that's opened up and unified, you've got your whole energy spectrum for you. And that's so important because that energy is so much more power, and it won't exhaust itself.
Wow. Wow.
That's
Wow.
what
Thank you for a great
around.
show today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Again, please let folks know how they can find out more about you and get a copy of the book.
You can get a copy of the book anywhere books are sold, or you can get them at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, any of the .coms, any of the independent stores, and you can find me and communicate with me at www.josephcardillo.com, Cardillo, and the book is Body Intelligence, How to Harness Your Body's Energies for Your Best Life.
And you know what? Dr. Joe and I are going to do a show. He's going to come back. We're going to do it on relationships. All right, everybody. We're going to take a shorty. We'll be right back with Lynn Brown.
Lights go out and I can't be saved. Tides that I tried to swim against pulled me down upon my knees. Oh, I beg and plead, singing, come out of things unsaid. Shoot an apple off my head and a trouble that can be named.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.